Hey everybody, Mr. Kirkwald here to go over our metric notes for today. It is Monday. The first thing that we're doing today is getting some metric notes down. There's a short, I think it's just like a 1 minute Bill Nye clip that talks a little bit about measurement. And then there's a discussion post here that I want you to do as well, talking about the metric system. So the metric system is a super big thing in science. Instead of measuring things in feet and inches and miles. We use a different set of measurements in science that the entire world uses, except for the United States and a small island in the Pacific Ocean. Other than that, every other country in the entire world uses the metric system to measure things. So, in science, because scientists talk to other scientists around the world, we also use that system. And then the hope is that one day the US will convert over to that system as well, because it's a super easy system once you have it down to use. So I want to talk a little bit about it today. So I'm going to go into my metric notes. I'm going to click on it. It's going to force me to make a copy. So I'm going to say make a copy. And immediately after you make your copy, the very first thing that you do once your page loads is you click on that little folder and you put it in your 6th grade science folder. So today's document has all of our notes for the metric system. So it's not just today's notes. There's a couple other ones that we're going to have in here too. So as you scroll down, you'll see that there's more stuff in here, but we are just going to be focused on this first table here with these definitions. So going over the definitions first, measurement. So measurement is a description that that includes a number and a unit. So it's essentially just we need to know how large or small things are, and so we need a way to do that. The way that we do it in science is with the metric system. It's an international set of units that all scientists use across the world. Accuracy and precision, we'll come back to those, so I'm not worried about those now. We'll have a full day with accuracy and precision later this week. So, a couple of basics for the metric system. When they're measuring length, so if you wanted to measure the size of the table that your Chromebook is sitting on, or you wanted to measure something with a ruler, that is going to be used with a meter. So a meter is a little bit larger than a yard, and it's 100 centimeters long. We'll get into all of that a little bit later. And it uses the symbol M. This is the one that we're going to be using most of the time, okay? So this is the one that we're really going to focus on because at home you probably have a ruler, and so you can use that. Our next one is mass. So mass is weight. So like when you step on the scale or you're trying to figure out how heavy something is, that's mass. And for mass, they use something called a gram with that. Time, luckily, is still the same. With time in the metric system, they use a second as well. Temperature is a little bit different though. They use Celsius or Kelvin. We will focus on Celsius when we do temperature together. And then for volume, volume would be like you use cups and gallons and ounces. They use something called a liter. So we're going to focus on these ones specifically, but we'll stick mostly with the meter. What I want you to do in our notes here is highlight a couple of things because these are the ones that we're going to be using most of the time. So when we're talking about the metric system, the large prefixes and suffixes here that we're going to need to worry about are just prefixes. There's no suffixes. Is we're going to highlight the base unit. So if I'm going to measure something and it's 1 meter long, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make it, I don't know, what should we do, red? Oh yeah, red looks good. Okay, so I'm going to use red. I used the fill button here, the little paint can, and I highlighted it and I made it red. The other ones that we're going to do is we're going to use kilo. So kilo means 1,000. So a kilometer is almost a mile. It's about 2/3 of a mile. And that is a big one that we're going to use with all of our units as well. We're also going to use centi, so a centimeter. Centi, think century. A century is 100 years, or 1 cent is 1/100th of a dollar. It's a penny. You need 100 pennies to make a dollar. And then milli is the last one that we're going to use, and we're going to highlight this one too. So milli is kind of like millennium, if you've heard millennium before, like the Millennium Falcon. Millennium means 1,000 years, and so milli means 1,000 of them. So actually, in our next video tomorrow, I think you'll see me holding a meter stick, and there are 1,000 little lines on there. Okay, so when we're talking about length, we're going to be using the meter, and that's really what we're going to focus on with the metric system. So today is just an intro day. It's why do we use the metric system? That's what Bill Nye is going to talk about. And then the other video is going to break down how we are measuring things. So today's an intro day, and then tomorrow we will go out and you will practice measuring some things with a ruler that you have at home. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Be sure that you fill in that discussion post, and you also fill in the or watch the Bill Nye video. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.